The Brian Mudd Show is on News Radio 610 WIOD.
We've been talking all about the Broward School Board and what they decided to do in defiance of Florida law. Mask mandate for all students, no parental opt-out, the first in the state to travel down this path. Joining us, Quentin Brogdon, once again, legal expert who's always full of some interesting insight, good stuff for us. Quentin, we got a battle brewing here in South Florida.
That's right. Good morning, Brian. We're fighting the same battle in my home state of Texas. Each of our governors have issued executive orders discouraging or outright banning mask mandates. And in each of our states, we have local school districts primarily where you've got, so-called hotspots ignoring those orders. And so now your governor and my governor face the question of what are they going to do to try and enforce it. The DeSantis executive order directed the Florida Department of Education and the Florida Department of Health to issue emergency rules. It didn't outright ban mask mandates, but it said that the rules needed to give parents the power to choose whether their children wore masks in class, and it threatened to withhold state fundings for districts that didn't comply. So now the question is, will DeSantis do that?
So a couple things, and I was speaking to a legal expert last hour who seemed to think that he did not retain the authority to do such a thing. We haven't heard if definitely the governor is going to travel down this path yet. Do you think he has legal standing to do so?
Well, there's an argument he does, and there's an argument he doesn't. I think not by coincidence, each of the governors, my governor and yours, Florida and Texas, are on the short list being discussed for presidential contenders, in the next election. Cynics of your governor's order called it, and I'm quoting someone else, glorified press release that really wasn't telling or mandating anything. It was sort of punting it off and giving your governor the ability to say, here's what I am in favor of and not in favor of. And likewise, my governor has been criticized in a similar manner. And so the question is, as these places are heating up, particularly in the urban areas, what are the governors going to do? They have an argument that they have the power to withhold funding, but the way it really depends state by state on the Constitution and exactly what power is given a governor. Our governor in Texas is pretty weak. Your governor is stronger under your statutes and in your Constitution. But your governor said, I want the Department of Education in Florida and the Department of Health to issue these emergency rules. Here's what I want. But it gives your governor an ability, if he wants, to kind of step back and say, well, here's what they did. It wasn't exactly what I wanted, but I'm going to let it go. My prediction is he probably won't do that.
To your point on the mask mandate itself, that became part of the Florida Board of Education's rule. So it's not even an executive order of DeSantis at this point. He could rescind it, and it doesn't matter anything. It doesn't matter at all. It is the law for this upcoming school year, and so we have a violation in Broward. I want to bring something else in front of you. So Broward is saying no matter what, parents, you have no choice. Your kids, they go in our classrooms, you're going to have to wear that mask. Now, I have found 13 studies on the National Institutes of Health website, Team Fauci's website, many of which depict negative outcomes studied last year during the school year, kids of all ages from kindergarten through college, some of which were monitored to be problems with breathing, headaches. There were mood issues, depressive issues. So if we have documented science on the National Institutes of Health website that says, hey, these can cause negative health implications, and if my kid experiences some of those, could I have standing, legally to turn around and sue the Broward School District?
I think you certainly could file a lawsuit and have a claim to make, and then it's up to the judge to kind of weigh, in all of these types of things, there needs to be an accommodation for special circumstances, even for vaccinations. If you agree or don't agree with vaccinations under the law, you've got to accommodate people with pre-existing medical conditions. And so you can't just flat out say, here is it, and it applies to everybody. I think for it to be enforceable, you have to have some built-in exceptions.
Well, and the exceptions would be big because there are negative implications studied to up to 81% of kids in classrooms. So it would be almost everybody at a certain point. That's good to know, though, Quentin, because you just gave us something. And I've received a lot of questions from parents today asking, what do I do? Well, we might all join in a big old lawsuit and go after these people. What do you say? We'll see you on it in the meantime. Quentin Brogdon, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Take care, Brian. It's not going away anytime soon. That's for sure.